Bum, 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 dum, dum.
So that's the intro?
No, that's not the intro.
That's just like that. That's gonna be part of the video.
Nope, because I'll cut it out of my audio.
Oh, don't do that. No, come on. Go on.
Hey guys, and welcome to Movie Mumbles, where the Mumbles have movies and the movies have Mumble.
Da,
I'm Mr. Womble, and here's Royce Johnson. Say hi, Roy.
Da.
God damn it.
Da.
With the start of our new theme, Jackie Chan movies, we both picked two movies, both of which, all four of which, have Jackie Chan as a starring role.
Yep.
Which he has actually, like, about 137 acting credits on
He's been in a lot of movies.
IMDb. He's been in a lot of movies, and I'm a huge fan, so only picking two for me is going to be a little bit of a problem. However, at the end of the last Mumbles, I did choose the 1985 Hong Kong hit Police Story.
Now,
I clearly stated to which the Cantonese version we had to watch with the English subs. And hey, listen to this. Roy didn't. He watched the English dub.
I mean,
so
let's be honest.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
Let me just be honest. These kinds of movies, I think the dub kind of, you know, it kind of adds a sort of element to it. You know, it's like...
No, it doesn't. So anyway, this is the first major Hong Kong release for Jackie Chan, with his own stunt team and him at the helm of his as a director. I think he did Project A, which was slightly of a lower budget, but this is like his first major direction that he did, and he's only directed like 17 movies as well, which is pretty amazing. It was such a breakthrough in Hong Kong that it's actually spawned a huge franchise. It has 5 sequels. It's about an up-and-coming cop, Chan Kui, who in the English dub is Jackie Chan because Americans are dumb. And it goes to war with a drug-dealing mafia-style boss in the process.
He's like an evil businessman, kind of.
For murder of a road cop, and he fights his way, pretty much literally fights his way from the bottom up to the top in such a fun, entertaining, and funny way that just defines Jackie Chan. So, Roy, what did you think of the film?
Okay, so it's a funny thing. I remember last time I talked about it, I said I watched the movie. I was wrong, actually. The movie I watched was actually New Police Story, which is a completely different film. It's a completely different film. It's
so we've what?
I remembered it was
right. Okay, so you watched the New Police Story before, but you have actually watched this film.
I haven't seen this film yet. It's a completely different movie. I just remember it was about video games, but I realized when watching this one, this is a completely different movie. It's a police story. It is a police story movie. It's just not Police Story.
So the New Police Story, A New Police Story was a reboot. I think it's a standalone film.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a lot more darker.
It's darker. Yeah, I remember it.
It was made in about 2003. It's still Jackie Chan. He wasn't the director on that one though. So yeah. But it's not a comedy. Whereas this one very much is a comedy.
No, it's crazy. This film is freaking crazy. Okay, just just in general, like there's so much. Like, it's an action comedy, but it's both awesome and hilarious as hell. Like, in general. It is. Yeah. So, first off, the establishing scene is they're trying to, you know, bust...
Oh, spoilers ahead. I missed that. I'm misreading that part out from my... I made a little script, and there was a little moment where it says, there will be spoilers ahead, but please go and watch the movie. I missed that part out. Go and watch this movie. It's such a great movie. And don't do what Roy did. Go and watch the full Cantonese version with English subtitles. It adds so much more flavor to it. Anyway, sorry,
I'll watch it.
Carry on.
I'll watch it later. But anyway, establishing scene. They're going to bust this bad, evil business guy, and just it just goes super crazy. There's a shootout that goes on, and the scene where the cars just drive through, like, I think it's like a boat, just like this. It's
like it's a mini village somewhere on the outskirts of Hong Kong.
They like get into this chase, and the bad guys and Jackie Chan, they just ram these cars just through these things, and they look real. They were definitely practical effects, and it's just crazy. Just like that kind of insane action, like set pieces are like throughout the film, and pretty much at the end of it, Jackie Chan kind of becomes like this public hero, like police hero stuff. for busting the guy, and like he's all over, like he's like a minor celebrity, like just like getting like he's the face of the police.
Why not? He literally chased down a bus.
Yeah.
And that
the bus,
on the bus is so
the bus set piece was also awesome.
His feet go everywhere, and it's like so. Like, that whole scene is so intense at the beginning, especially with the cop that doesn't, like, he's really nervous, and you see it in his face, and he genuinely looks terror, and there's genuine terror and fear, and
well, that's because Jackie Chan really did his
spaces.
Jackie Chan does his own stunts. He did all the stunts in his film.
Yes.
He didn't get a stunt double.
Yes.
That's the thing about him.
God, no. He had so many injuries in this film as well, which is just
yeah. We could talk about
really bizarre.
We could talk about that.
Think about. Yeah, we could talk about that later.
Go to the bus scene. So he basically grabs first off, he grabs an umbrella from an old lady, but anyway, and then he just runs up to the bus because the bad guys took the bus, and he takes the umbrella hook and hooks it to the back of the bus, and he's just like getting dragged around by the bus. He eventually makes it to the windows, and he just like dangling on the side of the bus, like just kicking and the bad guys are trying to get him off the bus, but he's like just it's just so goddamn.
But for me, that kind of sums up how Jackie Chan is idolized in my head, because he literally starts off from the bottom of the bus and works his way up in front of the bus and then halts the bus at gunpoint. He plays chicken with a bus and he wins, and we get such a satisfying reward at the end where all the bad guys fall out of the bus and then just it's so satisfying. And you only get that because you can tell that Jackie Chan and his stunt team work so hard on that whole sequence of events, like from him running up to the bus with the umbrella, hooking it on, doing the little dance, and like him being in trouble, and then he's climbing on, and the bad guys are reaching over the top and trying to push him off, and he then falls off the bus, but then he's at the top of the mountain, and he runs down, and he gets to the bottom of the hill before the bus does, and it's just so satisfying. It's so satisfying.
This movie is not just awesome action, which there's plenty of. This is also hilarious. I'm not sure what you think of this scene, but the scene where like they're at Jackie Chan's like flat, and just that entire whole scene, like first off, there's the whole thing about the birthday. So just the establishing context. Well, Jackie Chan essentially is supposed to guard the secretary who, like, I'm not sure if he's just a secretary or maybe like a girlfriend or something. I think she's just a secretary. But she knows stuff about the evil businessman guy, and he's supposed to guard her. And what Jackie Chan does is set up. At first I actually thought like he sets up a murderer who's obviously just a policeman just trying to scare the woman. And it's obvious.
From the moment the mask falls off, it's kind of obvious because he's like trying to hold.
I'll be honest. I thought he was just because the thing is, the previous scene established they were the evil businessman bad guy was sending people out to get her.
It's the same police guy that got caught right at the beginning. And, he was in right at the beginning. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice that. But but still, it's still kind of funny. Like. At first, I was honestly thinking, this guy is fucking awful. Why did they send this shitty person? And then it makes sense that he wasn't trying to kill her. He's just like, I'm gonna kill you. Just had the knife and just. So then she leaves. She pretty much leaves in like her like sleepwear and stuff. And then the actual hitman come and attack Jackie Chan. And then afterwards, which is awesome, by the way. It was also an awesome fight scene.
Yeah, that again, like every single fight scene is awesome in this because they know how to choreograph it. And the fact that the fighters can actually fight, so all the camera angles are very steady, wide shots, so you kind of see the scope of everything that's happening. And everything, like, those actors are getting hurt as well, so it means something. So when you get cut to the close-ups, you actually see them get hurt. Something that I've ranted about in the past, and I know when we've done action movies way, like, about a year ago now, when we started doing Mumbles, we did, like, a whole thing on action movies. Yeah. And, like, my main problem with action movies was that, in Hollywood, was that they weren't very good. They weren't very convincing. You never really felt for the characters. You didn't see them get hurt. And in these action sequences, you get that.
Going back to the funny moment. So after that, they come to Jackie Chan's place, and it turns out, oh, what a surprise. It was actually Jackie Chan's birthday the entire time. And so her girlfriend came in with the cake, but once she sees, like, the woman coming in with sleepwear, with his jacket over him, and then he just immediately just smashes the cake into his face. And then there's this whole thing where he's taking a bath, and, like, the other girl, the secretary, tries to apologize, like, you know, explain the situation.
Tries to get him to apologize, and then he's showing off because he's the obvious man. He's a guy, and that's another thing. Like, he's not like this really goody two shoes guy that everyone's supposed to worship. He's just a guy, you know. He's got his own ambitions.
Yeah, I know, but like he's in his girlfriend is in the room where he's talking about she's a nice girl, but she's awful. She's just like a shitty she needs to apologize.
Then she like fake dials.
He fake dials the girl.
Fake dials the phone, and then he does the same fake out telephone thing, which he'd already done before to her as well.
and then he's like, "Oh yeah, no, okay, I accept your apology, but that was an awful thing you did," and all that stuff. Then he closes the thing. He turns around. Oh shit! Like she was right in the room.
It's right there. Yeah.
And he's and then the motorcycle thing too. Like when she's trying to escape on the motorcycle, and she's just.
Yeah, that
set piece.
Everything in this, it flows really well, but it is a comedy film. Like, yeah, that's what we've got to say first. Like, it is a comedy film, and it is also an action film. But like, there are a lot of action comedy films that kind of do action and they do comedy, but they're all very separate.
Yeah.
In this, Jackie Chan makes the action funny a lot of the time.
Okay, that moment.
But then he's not afraid to go serious.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
I think at the end in the mall, he gets really serious and really intense, and it's still funny though. That's the thing about it, because like I don't know, it's really difficult to explain, but I think it's something to do with Jackie Chan's face. Like, he's got such a impressionable face. Like, he can do so many different movements and stuff.
Yeah,
with his face.
he's almost like a little child.
And he does that right at the end. Yeah, he's like a little child. Like. But yeah, it's probably like one of his best qualities.
He's a very charming, charismatic
comedian.
Yeah, and it works well when he's an action guy and a comedy guy. You know, he blends. Okay, so that set piece, that comedy set piece, and the phone scene are some of the funniest moments in the thing. And I don't know what your dub, like the dub versus the sub thing. But it's just kind of just hilarious because everyone in the police station leaves. So it's literally just Jackie Chan by himself with all these phones ringing. First is his girlfriend, and then the other one is like I'm not sure what yours is, but it was like a rape victim of Victor, and an abusive like boyfriend,
abusive
girlfriend,
husband. It's
As you just deal with all these different situations, like and the fucking phone calls are stretching.
Who loses a cow. Someone who loses a cow. Yeah, and in that scene, there's one of my favourite stunts that Jackie Chan ever does, and that is, it's so small, you probably didn't really notice it. Well, actually, you probably did, because in the end credits, it shows it a number of times and how he missed it. But he flicks a pencil from the desk, and he catches it.
Yeah, no, that was fucking cool.
It actually took like 55 takes just to get that one tiny little thing right. And it's like, it's mind-blowing.
It's so, like, even the funny moments are like carefully choreographed. Yeah, like even in that scene, there's like, it's like tangled up in the phones. He's like just like wrapped around, and he's like trying to call all the different things. Like, your mother needs birth control. Like at one point, like one of the things like the girlfriend hears, and it's just like, wait, she's like fucking 60. She can't get pregnant.
And for me, because I've watched both of the versions, actually I ended up watching the English version first because it is like I didn't know what it would be like for you, but it is a bit difficult to get hold of the Japanese, not Japanese, fucking Cantonese, the Cantonese version of this in the UK. I've got this on DVD, by the way. I had to import it in, and it is the Cantonese version with English subtitles. But there is also an English dubbed version. You're an English dub version on this, as well as a German dub and all other sorts of dubs. But the thing that you lose with the English dub is the beat. There's like a hidden beat and a rhythm that go on in the Cantonese. And maybe it's because I don't speak Cantonese and I can just hear that when I listen to it. But there's like this rhythm, and it is so comedic. Like, the comedic timing is amazing with that. And it's almost as though you don't need to read the subtitles to get that comedy. And that's kind of why I wanted you to watch
I feel bad.
The Cantonese version, because you won't get that without... with the English dub. It's a layer that is missed out. And it's the same with the fight scenes as well. There's like this rhythm that you just don't notice, but you don't notice it's there until it's gone. So like when I rewatched the English dub, I was like, oh wow, there's like this rhythm that's missing in this film, and it doesn't quite work as well. It's like translating a song from French to English. It doesn't quite work as well. It doesn't quite make sense. It doesn't hit the right beats. and it just doesn't mean as much.
Having said that, I still really like the movie. I might have missed something, and I might actually watch. I'm gonna watch this movie again. I'll try to see if I can find the Cantonese version, subbed one. I want to experience that because I still really like this movie.
However, like now, because you have seen this, we can now talk about something that we wouldn't have been able to talk about otherwise. What's the name of your main character?
It's Jackie Chan.
No, it's not. That's not his name. They only did that because the American audience can't pronounce the actual main character's name. So his actual name is Sergeant Kevin. Well, supposedly. That's the idea. It's Sergeant Kevin. So that's what it translates to English. But they kept it as Jackie, weirdly enough. And you pronounce it in Cantonese as Ka Kui, right? Which is kind of how you hear the Jackie, Ka Kui. And because it was Jackie Chan that was starring in it, they thought that it was... When they did the dubs, they thought that they were always saying Jackie instead of Kakui. Okay. But it's not. It's actually Kakui, which translates to Kevin. So that's something that we wouldn't have been able to talk about otherwise, because you've just said that the main character's name was Jackie Chan, but it's not Jackie Chan. It's not Jackie Chan trying to be Jackie Chan.
I know.
It's actually a different character.
I know.
A different character name. And that's, again, another reason why I don't like the English dub, because it's essentially because the American and English audiences and the Australian audiences are too dumb. They can't understand Cantonese names. So... Yeah,
it's a different language.
It's Kakui. It is a different language, but still, you could still say Kakui or Kevin. You could translate it to Kevin. It's not difficult.
Well, obviously, I knew it was a different character. I didn't assume he was fucking Jackie Chan.
As far as I'm aware, his last name is Chan. Yeah, but then Chan is a very common Cantonese name anyway. Okay. And I think it's Chan Kakui. So that's how you pronounce the name, because you pronounce the last name at the beginning, and so on and so forth. But anyway, I thought that was interesting to point out, because that's the only character that ends up being Jackie. It's so weird. It's so weird for me, and I just don't understand how that's happened over time.
Okay, but anyway. So you were talking a bit about the serious moments, and there was a kind of serious moment at the end. I want to talk about, in terms of serious moments, the scene where he's actually like taking the commissioner or sergeant guy hostage. Like, that whole thing. Because, unlike the other scenes, which have some kind of more comedic element to it, this, for the most part, this scene is pretty serious. And Jackie Chan, I think, is actually kind of freaky in this scene. Because, at this point, so context for the scene. So, pretty much, he's essentially been framed by the bad guys into thinking that he shot his cop comrade. But he's actually the cop was actually a rogue cop that was working with the bad guys. But, the bad guys... shot him to make Jackie Chan look like the rogue cop. So the commissioner essentially arrests him, even though he knows that Jackie Chan probably didn't do it, but he kind of has to arrest him. So at this point, Jackie Chan kind of fucking flips out. He takes the commissioner hostage, and everyone's just like the other guy who's his boss, who's more supportive of Jackie, even's like, no, you should not do this. And he's like, no, this piece of shit has been doing all the wrong things, and because of that, our investigation has gone to hell.
Getting away from it as well, yeah.
Yeah,
getting
exactly.
Away with it.
Yeah. I honestly, I thought at that point, I almost thought, was the commissioner working with the bad guys? I mean, I kind of knew he wasn't, but at the same time, he was just, Jackie Chan was so in that moment, and I honestly, during that scene where he's keeping him hostage, and everyone's like, he's like, put your hands on the table and stuff like that. He was legitimately, honestly, I think he was legitimately intimidating, because at this point he's he was flipped out at this point. And
he is.
And also a part of me was like, how is he because he's like, oh, this is all part of the plan and stuff. How is him taking the commissioner hostage helping him in his endeavors? And it turns out he was, and
it was, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it still felt it only took me until the point where he's like, okay, get out now. When he takes him in the car and he's just get out. I do find it weird that the commissioner is like, okay, I understand what you had to do and all that stuff. I think considering he was held hostage, I know he probably didn't know, he probably knew that Jackie Chan wasn't going to shoot, but still, I found it weird that he's like, okay, get that shit done. I believe in you. After all of that, I did find that kind of unrealistic.
Yes. Yeah.
But still, the scene itself...
I found it really realistic, because I think that was the moment where it changed the commissioner's ideal ideals, and it kind of flipped the switch back over to being a normal policeman, because especially when he kidnapped the commissioner, like the commissioner, like at the end he got out and he said, I'm still gonna have to chase you, and then he offered him good luck. He didn't like say, stop, no, you're in really serious trouble now. He says good luck. So then when he's looking over at the last minute and he says, I haven't seen anything, and then kind of moves away, like, that makes sense to me, because his character has evolved. And that's something you kind of get with the smaller roles. You get a little bit of
I do with you. I like at the very end, too, where, like, Jackie Chan's pretty much flipping out. He's beating up the bad guys, but he's also beating up, like, the lawyer and the businessman who...
Which is also bad guys, you know.
Yeah, they're bad guys, but they're technically not the ones that were fighting him, so, like... At this point, so especially with the business guy, I mean, it's solely fucking satisfying to see him beat up the businessman.
So satisfying.
Yeah, but still, like, and then,
is.
But like, but anyway, his boss character. His boss character was like, oh, we should. I'll be the one that writes the report, and the commissioner is like, no, what report? There's no report. Like, I can see that. There's a bit of a development, because at this point, he was so obsessed with, like, oh, you're gonna be reporting for this and all that stuff. But at this point, he's like, nah, I, like, this shit, like, he grows, he understands that stuff, and, like...
Okay, so, like, in that scene, like, the final big climax for that scene is when he slides down, the pole, and the lights and everything goes off. But right now, I'm gonna list the amount of injuries that Jackie Chan suffered while doing that particular stunt, and this is the reason why they showed it 3 times in the actual ending edit. Okay, so this is what happened. 2nd-degree burns because the pole was so hot from the lights. Most particularly, it went to his hands. He had a back injury that nearly caused him to be paralyzed. And he also dislocated his pelvis upon landing. And then he still got up and carried on filming after doing that. That's the dedication.
He almost died. Like, no, he almost died in that scene.
And like, you see at the end, you see all the, like, in the end credits, you see him getting knocked out and, like, them having to undress him and fan him down and get medical treatment, because throughout filming of this, he did so much injury to himself. And it wasn't just himself that had injury, it was his stunt team as well. And because his stunt team got injured quite badly in this, he actually financed a stunt program school where he would personally teach and educate his fellow stunt members martial arts, how to do stunts safely, and everything like that. And all of the medical bills for those select stunt men would be paid by Jackie Chan himself, so that they could continue to make movies. And that was how that was his dedication, and how much he wanted to, like, how much he felt towards this film. And, like, that goes through all of his Hong Kong releases, and that's, for me, something that isn't translated into the American releases.
Okay.
Because time and money is always pow, 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 pow. It's like, it's gone. It, like, that's all they care about. They care about the money. They don't care about the art. And for me, this is one of the greatest art films that I've ever seen, and that's why I love it. It's so fun, it's enjoyable, it's hilarious, and it's such a testament to cinema that it should be watched over and over again, which is essentially why I've watched it twice. I can continue to watch this over and over again, and each time I watch it, there's something new and brilliant that you find.
Okay, so I think it can be established. One, Jackie Chan is fucking awesome. Like, he's just, like just, yes. And not just being an awesome action hero, he's a fucking awesome person. Secondly, this is not the first time he's nearly died from one of his stunts. He still did his stunts after this, and he's done some stuff before that almost killed him.
Yes.
I remember, like, and I don't watch his movies, but I know of Jackie Chan, and I know some of the awesome stunts he's done. I remember he did, like, this, he did a scene that was tributing, what was that movie? Safety First, where, like, the guy's hanging from the clock or something, and, like, he did a tribute to that scene where he really is hanging from the face of the clock.
Yes.
And you can see his face. Okay, also, not just Jackie Chan who does his stunts. I'm pretty sure most of the actors who played those scenes did their stunts. I think even the women in the scene, like, it looks like, I could be wrong. They could be stunt people, but I think the women in those scenes also did some of the stunts. Because when I saw, when I saw those guys beating up like the secretary,
no, they did. I think pretty much most of the actors in that did a lot of their own stunts. They wouldn't do as much to the extreme that Jackie Chan does all of his own stunts and is very furious about doing all of his own stunts, especially at that time of his life.
It's so impressive, you know, like, because like there are scenes.
It is.
Yeah, like, especially when like the secretary's going to the fucking glass and you can see her face. It's really her, and like, Jesus Christ. Like, I gotta give kudos not just to Jackie Chan, but all the fucking people who did that shit. It's impressive. And it's just one of the reasons why this film is even more impressive. Because it's not, you know, they really did this shit. It just adds a kind of awesomeness to the film itself, besides all the funny awesome moments in this film.
Yeah, I know. And it kind of, like, it deserves how well it did with, like, the Hong Kong Film Awards. It won Best Picture. It won Best Action Choreography. It was nominated for the director, for actor, for actress, cinematography, Best Film Editing. And that's something else that we haven't really spoke about, is the actual film edits in this. Every edit has a reason and a purpose, and it's clear and it's precise, and it doesn't hide what is meant to be shown to the audience. Like, everything is everything is the best effort. And that's something that's one of the highest praises you can ever give any form of art, is that someone has really put in the effort and their best go at making something that they love, and that's what it means. And as for, like, the sequels that it spawns, Police Story 2, that's hilarious. Police Story 3, again, hilarious. Police Story 4, well, it just gets a little bit weird at times, but again, it's just, it's the same sort of level of comedy. And then there's 2 other films that are very dark and more serious, like A New Police Story, which is 2004, and then there's also a 2013 Police Story. I think it's like Police Story Lockdown or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that was the American release. And, like, all of those, like, that all spawned from this one film. And it kind of shows how much time and effort has gone into creating this and how much thought was made for it. But yeah, that was Police Story.
Yeah, that was. It was. I definitely did enjoy watching the film. You know what? I didn't regret it, but I'll probably watch the Cantonese version after like this.
Definitely. The correct name is I'm gonna have a go at pronouncing this.
Okay.
Ging Chat Gu Si.
Yeah, it's very hard to not sound racist saying that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, Police Story, 1985. If you've got this far and you still haven't watched it and you're still not convinced at how amazing this is, especially if you like cinema and especially if you like movies, go and watch it. It's worth it. You won't regret it.
Okay. So now on to my pick for Jackie Chan Week. Now, I know how much Womble likes the American releases of Jackie Chan films. The American Jackie Chan films.
I don't think there's one that I like.
Okay.
Just so you're aware.
And I know how much Womble likes child actors. So I decided, and you know who?
Oh God! It's
you know who's one of the best child actors worked in Hollywood?
It's Karate Kid. He's picking Karate Kid, guys.
Jaden Smith.
Actually, okay. This film isn't that bad. It's probably his best American release.
Okay, so
but that's not saying anything.
I haven't seen this movie. I've heard, I've heard praises of the film. You know, like for a remake. Okay, it's gotten decent amount of praise for being a remake of a popular film. And
the original is way better.
He's pretty much okay. So
it's completely different as well. The original film is completely different.
So Jackie Chan is pretty much the Mr. Miyagi of that film. So it's gonna be interesting to. I haven't seen it yet. I'm kind of interested in seeing the Karate Kid, the 2010 version.
The problem with the 2010 version of the Karate Kid is that they don't actually have karate in it.
They
have kung fu. So it's the Kung Fu Kid. Why did they ever call it the Karate Kid? Oh, because American audiences are dumb. Another reason why Jackie Chan should never have been allowed to make American movies.
So now it's your chance to check out the 2010 version of the Karate Kid. We'll be watching that next in our continuing Movie Mumbles highlight of Jackie Chan films.
It could have been worse. It could have been Shanghai Noon.
I could have picked Rush Hour, okay? Let's be honest.
Well, Rush Hour's, again, not too bad. It's fine. But it's just not up to par with, like, his Hong Kong releases. Anyway, yep, go watch the movie. Until then, we'll see you next time, I guess. I don't know. Fuck. Yep. Bye!
Yep. Karate Kid. Da 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 da.
Dun, dun, dun.
Karate Kid.
Dun, 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 dun.